Happy Tuesday! Welcome to Starling on Cinemas, the Cinemas with an S. And today I'll be giving you my review on Antz. This is the start of the Dreamworks Animation playlist after my most successful playlist on my channel, the Pixar playlist, combining all the views from each of those combining all of the views I've gotten from my Pixar videos into high numbers. I just want to thank y'all for the support that I put, for the support on my effort to create something ingenious in my head. And even if it's not digitally rendered, I simply put the time and the effort and just the simplest ideas into making these videos have some flavor. And I'm glad that I've gotten the support, that the support speaks and says everything, speaks the volumes that I've put into everything. So today again is my review on Antz. This is the start of the Dreamworks Animation playlist, and I just wanted to give my supporters on my Pixar videos a shout out, because Pixar was so responsible for our childhood most of the time. Most of us probably grew up on Monsters Incorporated. That was our first Pixar film. That was my first Pixar movie. And Finding Nemo and Incredibles. Incredibles is still my favorite Pixar film to this day. But after going through all of the Pixar movies, from Toy Story to Luca, they have been all-time treasures. They have been at a top tier all-time treasures in animated films. And going into this Dreamworks Animation playlist, this has been the only other thing related to animation that has made your childhood. Like your childhood, if it wasn't Pixar, it was always Dreamworks. You would always have your Shreks, your Kung Fu Pandas, your Madagascars, your How to Train Your Dragons, your Flushed Away, Over the Hedge, Trolls, Boss Baby, Rise of the Guardians, Croods. It had it all. Whenever there was a moment when a Pixar film was not in theaters, you would turn to Dreamworks, right? If you are that person, give me a thumbs up in the comments below, because I am just so glad I get to start this playlist with you guys. I had a lot of fun with the Pixar films, and I know I'm going to have a lot of fun with these movies. Let's get started. One thing that I will do on this series that I haven't really done a lot in the Pixar films are really give a shout out and give credit to the voices. The people that were casted for voicing these characters, because it is not just the fact of how well it is not just the quality of the voice acting in those characters, it's who they choose to voice these characters. I love how they always choose these big names to voice these characters, how they always choose actors that we are all familiar with. Everybody knows Eddie Murphy. Everybody knows Sylvester Stallone, who was in this film. Everybody knows Alec Baldwin. Everybody knows Chris Pine, Jack Black, Seth Rogen, Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan. If I didn't say Eddie Murphy, I think I said Eddie Murphy already. Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett Smith, But they always, Will Smith, they always choose Ryan Reynolds. They always choose these big A-list actors to voice these characters, and that kind of what draws the attention in for me, because when I hear, that's always been my favorite thing about these films, I always guess who's behind the mic. I can never tell who's behind the mic, but when I see who it is, I'm always surprised. I never knew that was Steve Carell voicing Hammy the squirrel in Over the Hedge, and Bruce Willis as RJ, come on, and Wanda Sykes, iconic as Stella and Over the Hedge. But we haven't got there yet. I just wanted to point them out because those have been one of the more superior aspects about the Dreamworks films. That, no disrespect to the Pixar films, but the Pixar movies, the voice acting wasn't my favorite part of them. The voice acting was great. The voice acting is iconic. I love Tom Hanks as Woody. I love Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. I absolutely love Sam Jackson as Frozone, and Craig T. Nelson as Mr. Incredible, Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen, Larry the Cable Guy as Toad Mater. The voice actors they choose are kind of what helps these movies stand, at least, to stand up and walk. But the stories have The quality of the stories is what has the narratives running. What has us running towards these movies. Like the voice acting is what helps us stand, but the quality of story is what has us running towards it. So the voice acting has always been a superior aspect of these films, even if the Pixar movies were doing great with them anyway. So anyway, let's get to it. Z, the worker ant, voiced by Woody Allen, strives to reconcile his own individuality with the communal work ethic of the ant colony. He falls in love with Ant Princess Bala, Sharon Stone. Z strives to make social inroads and then must save the ant colony from the treacherous scheming of the evil General Mandible, Gene Hackman, that threatens to wipe out the entire worker population. If I hadn't said it already, there is a big reason why I had to recap Pixar at the beginning of this video. It is not just to thank you guys again for your support on those videos, because I love watching those movies and I loved talking about them. But in the beginning, if not throughout their history, DreamWorks, they have been in competition, or they were mistakenly competitive with Pixar. From my understanding, Antz with a Z at the end, is the second full-length CG animated film ever made, but mistakenly in competition with A Bug's Life. Remember that? A Bug's Life? It's relatively forgettable. It came out in '98, just like this film, and it fell in between Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2. Furthermore, it was DreamWorks Animation's debut film that served as a decent start to an otherwise equally consistent track record of captivating childhood favorites. You know the ones, you know what you love, and you know which ones you didn't love. In the beginning, shortly around when the Pixar seed was planted with Toy Story, a former Disney employee named Jeffrey Katzenberg left in '94 and said that the idea for Antz came from a '91 story pitch by Tim Johnson that was related to Katzenberg in October '94. However, Disney had been working on developing an ant film since '98, a little something called A Bug's Life. So this right here settles a relative argument about which serves as a ripoff to what. Is Antz a ripoff to A Bug's Life, or is A Bug's Life a ripoff to Antz? The answer is Antz. Now, in a way, I wanted to believe that A Bug's Life was the ripoff, since Antz was only the second animated movie after Toy Story, especially when you consider that A Bug's Life was the second Pixar release 3 years later. '95, Toy Story. '98, A Bug's Life. However, A Bug's Life was in development long before Toy Story was released, or probably even made. And that means that Antz is technically that ripoff. DreamWorks' animated debut contains almost every parallel to A Bug's Life that you can find. The comparisons in this film stick out like grass, with both possessing a protagonist ant that is a worker ant, his name is Flick, in A Bug's Life with a K, is in love with a princess ant, her name is Ada, and in this her name is Bala, and has an antagonistic relationship with an authoritative ant. Now, the antagonist in A Bug's Life may have not been an ant, he was a grasshopper, but he is also voiced by an actor who so happened to play Lex Luthor. Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey was the voice of Hopper, and Gene Hackman was the voice of this guy right here, the Mandible. Logically, DreamWorks could have created a whole different style and direction, but it is entirely made up of everything that was Pixar's second feature film. Though the thematic divergence between the two comes down to the ideal theme of individuality, as with The Bug's Life, teaching a valuable lesson in every idea having a sense of worth, whether minor or major. Antz teaches a lesson in free will and how everybody has the right to make their own choices and are not subjected to anybody's commands, whether they are an ant or a person. Rotten Tomatoes gives Antz a 92% score. That's also a parallel with A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life, as we speak, has a 92%. The general consensus is this: Antz is only meant to incorporate a light that would spark the fuse and explode into a spree of fine animated tales back to back. Wallace and Gromit, Shrek, A Bug's Life, Shrek, Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, each captivating in their own individual way, and each bringing a very solid memory into your head as the 7-year-old you would have been at the time. 7, 9, 8, 2, whatever age you were. When you were young watching those movies, the memories of what you saw are vividly there to stay and are vividly solidified in your head. With its all-star voice cast, ageless animation, which surprisingly, this may have came out in the same year as A Bug's Life, but Antz looked better. I say looked better than A Bug's Life, because A Bug's Life was only the second Pixar film, so it still looked a whole lot like Toy Story before Toy Story 2 obviously showed little improvement. Now, on an average, the animation at Pixar is 2 steps ahead of the animation at DreamWorks. So like, was it 2004? If I'm not wrong, Shark Tale was released in 2004 alongside The Incredibles, which was 2004. And The Incredibles, even to this day, still looks like a beautiful animated film. It was beautifully animated, and the way that the people move, and the design and the textures of the environments, and the design, or I guess the character designs, as opposed to the environment in Shark Tale, which some of them doesn't look as well refined as those Pixar films at the time. But again, Pixar is 2 steps ahead of animation quality as much as DreamWorks is. Now, sometimes it is an exception, like Shrek looks better than Monsters Incorporated. Both released in 2001, and Shrek told a more captivating story than Monsters Incorporated. No disrespect to Monsters Incorporated. Monsters Incorporated, in the words of Watch Mojo, extracts enough tears to fill a pool. Okay? Now, Shrek, it has a lot more iconic voice cast, because come on, you can't nothing beat the 2 leads in Shrek as far as animation is concerned. And it even won the Oscar Award for Best Animated Picture of 2001. So how's that not enough to respect the work, or to respect the level of story and the level of quality that is Shrek? That is, in my mind, is the DreamWorks animated film. Was the true most popular DreamWorks franchise. It's not that. It's very obvious to see why. And also a message that was solid of its time. I'm talking about Antz, about the message of individuality and free will, and no one owns you and you control your fate. But overall, it deserves 7.7 out of 10. Slightly better than A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life I gave a 7 out of 10 because it was forgettable, and it was just down there. It was down there with Luca. I put Luca down there. If you want to see how I feel about Luca overall, you can watch that review on my channel. But anyway, guys, I am excited to be giving you these reviews, going all out again with the DreamWorks animation picture, because I love animation and I love the arts. This is why I love movies in the first place. But animation is like the biggest advantage to captivating or to encapsulating the art inside of your head or to your eyes. And DreamWorks, while not all of it is art, if it happens to be art, it's kind of subconsciously becomes art, but mostly it's just pure entertainment, and that's what I love about the DreamWorks films. Just like Pixar, minus the art, minus the focus on the art, they are just purely entertaining. Let me get my words out. They are purely very fun and entertaining animated tales. So that is my review on A Bug's Life. That is my review on Antz. I'm sorry, I'm mixed up because they're just so similar. But that is my review on Antz. You can let me know which one you love better. Do you love A Bug's Life, despite how relatively forgettable it may be? Or you might be one of the people that actually remembers A Bug's Life. Or do you like Antz more? Please let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you guys tomorrow with my debut Wednesday playlist. Peace!